Are you looking for something different? Are you driving to work every morning and saying to yourself, what could I do to pass the time? Well, here's a show for you. Weekdays, Monday through Friday. Have faith, let it begin. It is a show designed for you, the daily commuter. Motivational topics, inspirational stories, personal testimony set out to change the world. Join us every morning live at 7:30 a.m. because this is a show all about faith. My name is Angel, and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin. Have faith, let it begin. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. This August is it's almost like August just started, and all of a sudden we're almost in the middle of August already. It's crazy. I'm getting ready for our youth group return. I'm getting ready for VBS at church. So much stuff is happening in these next couple of weeks. But today, I figured because it's a Thursday, it's a TBT day, Throwback Thursday, I thought I'd give a little interesting topic that we've talked about in the past before, but something a little bit more in depth. We've talked about first dates. We've talked about things that we've done on our first dates. But I'm just curious. A lot of people never talk about their second date. That's right. So this is a question, and it's going to lead into a story, of course. Let's talk about your second date. So throw out everything we've ever talked about on your first dates. You know, what you do on your first date, what's going on the first date. Has anything ever happened to you crazy on a second date? And it got me thinking. I've got a story that I want to share with you that happened to me on a second date. But before I do that, I've got to recap the first date. So this is back, in the day before I met my wife, when I was in the dating game. I had actually a decent date. The date went well. It was a very short date because we kind of met up at a later hour. We did a little bit of more like coffee and coffee and a dessert type of deal. Kind of get the butterflies out of our stomach and to prepare ourselves for the second date. But it really was a first date because a lot of the stuff that generally happens on a first date happened. So, for example, we got to know a little bit about each other. We got to interact. We enjoyed each other's company. And it seemed to go off without a hitch. So, after the first date was completed, there was no first kiss. Maybe a kiss on the cheek, but nothing extravagant. But to the point where it was definitely some interest there. So, we went on to the second date. On the second date, everything started out wrong. We just couldn't get on the same page. We started to talk about, after the first date ended, we said we'd retouch base again in a couple days. She reached out to me, and we decided to do something a little different. There was a festival going on. So we're going to meet up at a festival. And I believe it was a Portuguese festival. And she was Portuguese. She wanted me to go out, get a little taste for her culture. So I said, no problem. What ended up happening was I thought that the festival was on a Saturday. And it was actually on a Sunday. So Saturday, I prepared myself for the festival. And I waited, and she never called. So rather than be a pain in the neck, I didn't call her. I just assumed she stood me up. So I made plans to do something else on Sunday with the guys. Sunday came around, and as I'm hanging out with the guys, I get a phone call as to, hey, are you here yet? And I'm like, here where? And I ended up being that she was waiting for me at the festival. The thing about it was, she never told me where the festival was. She assumed that I knew where it was because of my response was, oh yeah, the Portuguese festival. So here I am now hanging out with the guys, and I have to leave the guys to go to this impromptu date. Keep in mind, I'm lounging, so I'm not dressed well enough, in my opinion, to go on a date. And on top of that, I don't have time to head home to change because I'm technically 30 to 45 minutes late. So I rush to a mall and go and buy an outfit and change at the mall and buy a quick outfit to go straight to the festival, which happened to be near a mall. So as I'm doing that and I'm leaving the mall, I forget to take a tag off. So the tag is literally still on my shirt. and I don't know it. It's the tag that tells you, the size of your shirt, like large, and it usually goes vertical, and usually it's in the front of the shirt. It was in the back. So I'm hanging out with her, and this thing keeps itching me in the back, and I can't figure out what it is. Finally, she looks over and she goes, you still have a tag on. And I had to tell her what had happened. She was a little annoyed that I forgot, but she understood, thought it was kind of funny, and thought it was very, sweet that I would actually take the time to go to the mall and buy an outfit just so that I was appropriate. We had a good time at the festival. Everything seemed good. Unfortunately, the food that I ate that day didn't sit well to my stomach, if you get my drift. So I couldn't find a bathroom. And I have a phobia about those, what do you call those, porta potties. So the whole time, I'm not really paying attention because my stomach is in knots, and I'm trying to find like a restaurant or something I can go into to use the restroom. Of course, these places do not allow you to use the restroom unless you buy something. So finally, I found like a Dunkin' Donuts, and I went in. I bought a coffee, an iced coffee, because it was a hot day, and then I went into the bathroom. I get into the bathroom, and the stall is overflowed, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, what do I have to do?" I literally went to the ladies' room. I didn't care. I literally knocked in the ladies' room, said it was maintenance, walked into the ladies' room, and used the restroom. I know that sounds a little graphic, but let me tell you, when you have to go, you have to go. And as I was leaving, somebody finally actually came in. I lucked out. And they were like, this is the women's room. I'm like, oh, I know. I was just checking it out, And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I leave. Unfortunately, when I came back out, I couldn't find the girl. She got really tired of waiting for me. I was about 20 minutes from that. I told her where I was going, but she really did not like the fact. She felt like I was kind of like ignoring her. And many years later, because that's how the date ended, by the way. Many years later, she ended up dating one of my friends. And I had to tell her that what happened. And, it was a funny story because later on, years go by and, and you find out, what really happened. And she thought I was hysterical. She actually thought that I was not into her. And, long story short, it was a very huge misunderstanding. But it was something I wanted to bring up. I thought it was a cool, funny story. And it made me think about Throwback Thursday and all different things that have happened to us. So write to us here at Have Faith, Let It Begin. Talk to us about what happened to you on your second date. Because first dates we always talk about first dates. We never talk about second dates. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you today on Thursday. Do something a little different. And remember that no matter what happens in life, give everybody a chance. Be patient, be kind, and most importantly, understand that things happen. And when they do, it's just sometimes they're things that are out of our control. For Have Faith, Let It Begin, my name is Angel. What a crazy story. Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, man love. We're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right, you and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day.